Welcome back to the How to Build a Real Estate Agent WordPress website using the Agent Press Pro theme. This is a series. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch the other videos yet, check them out. I'll put links below and in the little info cards that are popping up. And we've already set up our domain name. We've set up our WordPress platform, our hosting plan, our SSL certificate. Now we're going to move on to website components. And the first thing I want to show you is how to set some of your settings. Now, in the first video, we went ahead and installed our Genesis framework and our Agent Press Pro theme built by StudioPress. And so you should already have your theme, although it doesn't yet look like mine, okay? Because we haven't done all the design elements yet. So next thing we're going to do is I want to go ahead into our dashboard, and I'm going to show you some basic settings that you want to make sure are set up before we go on to setting up our design, okay? So first, look at your WordPress dashboard. If you have not seen this before, you've got the ability to add posts and media, which is images and files. We can add pages. We can monitor our comments. Here's your Genesis framework settings. You've got your appearance, which is how we change our design. We have plugins, which add functionality to our website. We have the ability to manage users, including our own profile. We've got tools and we've got settings. Now go ahead over to your profile. So scroll all the way down and go to your profile. Okay, now I want you to go ahead and set this up how you would want this to look if somebody is seeing your author profile, because this is going to show up depending on the plugins that we use and some of the functionality of our theme and our widgets. So you want to make sure this is set up. By default, it's going to have this set to your username. So I went ahead and changed my info. My name is Lori Ballen. And then if you have a nickname, you would put that there. Then we would decide how we want our name displayed. So you can choose whatever's showing up here, populating in the box. You're going to put in your email, your website address with your HTTPS. Remember, we set that up in the previous video. And then any kind of bio that you want here. And that can be an address. That could be a bio that talks about you. So this could say, Lori Ballen is a real estate agent in Las Vegas, Nevada, and has a top producing team. She's also the creator of Ballen Academy and the Ballen Method. And at your command coaching, she's a trainer and entrepreneur who has lived in Summerlin since 1992. Okay, so this website happens to be my Summerlin website, my Summerlin real estate website, so it's a good idea to include information about Summerlin. I have other info in there because a lot of times I get real estate agents checking out my websites as well, since I develop and build websites. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and leave everything else by default for now. And here you can update your theme. So if you want it to be a wide theme with no side, all right, this is side column on the right. This is header, body, side column on the left. Header, body, 2 side columns, which I don't recommend typically. Same thing with this. Header, body in the middle, 2 side columns, and then you have your wide theme. So most frequently we see the wide theme with no sidebar, or we see one of these two. You can set that up either way you like. Click Update Profile, and you can play with it. You can go back and forth. You won't hurt anything by doing that. You can also set up your administrative color scheme, which is just going to change the back end of your website. Okay, so that profile is important. Now we want to go down to settings. All right, general settings. You want your site title, Summerlin Life and Home. Now, your site title can play into your search engine optimization strategies. So I might want to call this quite literally Summerlin Homes for Sale. This can be changed. This is not changing our domain. It's changing how that site title is going to show up in the search engine results pages. So you can play with that. Summerlin Life and Real Estate. Summerlin Homes for Sale and Events. Okay, something like that. Tagline you can put in there. Sometimes that'll show up in certain themes or in certain places where it's going to pull from here. Other times you won't see that at all. Then your WordPress address. Now you need to change this now to, by default, your WP Engine set up your username.wpengine.com subdomain. Now you want to go ahead and change this to what is the actual WordPress address that we went over to Google Domains and set up, and then we changed the DNS so that, and then we went and changed the new URL on our WP Engine dashboard, and now you want to change it here. So if you didn't do those steps, you might want to go back in this series and watch those first videos. Okay, so you want that, and then email address, and I leave these others here. New users sign up can be subscribers. I leave the date format to that date and that time. Click Save Changes and go to your next tab, Writing. Okay, default post category. Now this is going to say default. In order to set up whatever your top blog category is going to be by default, what you can do is go up here to posts. Now I go down to categories, right click, open in a new tab. That way we're not going to use this spot right here that we're working on. So I don't have to go back and forth. Okay. Now where you see this will say default on yours, click edit. Change the name to whatever that top post is going to be. And then the slug is whatever comes after your URL. So it would look something like, in my case, gosummerlin.com/life, right? Okay, so maybe I want that instead, gosummerlin.com/living in Summerlin, or living, or homes. But this is going to be the top category. And since it's a blog, you could call this blog. You could call that blog. So it would say gosummerlin.com/blog. That's fine too. Okay. So in my case, mine says life. And then parent category. We'll come back and talk about some of this as we start building out our website. And then a description. Now keep in mind that if this URL, gosummerlin.com/life for my blog, shows up on the search engine results page, which looks like this. So let's just say somebody types in San Diego real estate. I always use San Diego as an example. All right. See this here, this description. This is what you're going to pay attention to whenever you're using a description. Okay. These are sometimes called the meta description or the description or an excerpt on a blog post. It might also apply there. Okay. So we're going to want to make sure that this description is going to be search engine results friendly. Then once that's figured out, you can also set up your theme SEO settings here. So you can carry that down. Now I don't mess with Summerlin Life House and Homes blog. Do something like that. I don't use meta keywords. I think the keywords can look very spammy and aren't really used the way they once were traditionally by the search engines. But if you wanted to put in a few Summerlin real estate blog, make sure it's custom to this page. Summerlin events blog, Summerlin, yeah. Okay, I'm not going to overstuff those in there. And then same thing, what page, do you want this to be a wide theme? Do you want it to have a sidebar? You can actually change these per category, per page. There's lots of options for that. All right, then you're going to click update. And then remember, just close that tab because we still have our other tab open we are working in. Now you're going to go down to reading. Okay, for right now, we're going to leave this. Your home page displays your latest posts, but you can change your home page to be so many things. You can pick a certain page on your website that you created already, or you could have it be a set of posts. You can have it be any kind of, so a static page or a rolling selection of your blog posts. Okay. Now in our case, we're using our theme and we're setting up our homepage looking like this. This is what we're going to use for our homepage. So we're setting this all up in this series. Okay. So I'm not just using a scrolling thing of blog posts because I have a video. Now you see here, Summerlin Homes for Sale and Events, where we changed our website title, which was general. See this, where we change this? This changes up here. So keep that in mind, that this gets really thick and bulky depending on what you have up here. So I'm going to change that back to Summerlin Life. Save changes. Okay, you can also change this in the appearance customization, which we're going to get into in a little bit. So just keep that in mind, that this theme does use that right here. And this is going to be a menu if we decide we want to create some sort of top menu. Okay, which we probably will over time. All right, go back down to reading. And we're done there. I'm not going to mess with anything else. Let's go to discussion. We're not going to worry about changing anything on that page for now. We're going to go down to media. I will let you know if I decide we want to change any of that. And if you want to change your thumbnail default sizes or your medium size default sizes or your large size default sizes, you can do that here. Permalinks, this is the really important one. By default, your blog will be set to plain. And what happens is your domain names will then have symbols, letters, numbers, and all kinds of gibberish after the slash, which is the slug. We don't want that. We also do not want a date in our URL because then it will show that things are outdated. And if you update it, you can't make it look current. So we don't want dates. We don't want numbers. So we want to go down here to this post name, gosummerlin.com/sample post. Now you can include your category, your blog category in the URL. What I have found is when I did that, it makes the URL way too long and just not user friendly. So I've now gone to simply using the post name with a basic page title after the slug. So that's what I'm doing, post name. And then we're just going to click save. Okay. That's your primary settings that you want to go ahead and set up for your WordPress. Make sure all that's done, and now you can go to the next video in our series.